Hello and welcome once again to our local to global series where we're playing as the Random Wrestling Revue, and you find us in the middle of booking a show. We did end the last episode in a kind of awkward place, a strange place for the series, but it just we ran out of time and I had to think about what I wanted to do in this match. And to be honest, I still haven't come up with a particularly um, you know, clear vision for what I want to do. I think ultimately we're gonna have about 9 minutes. I think Batista will win. He will pin Rose, and it'll be an open match and a pinfall finish victory for. Actually, I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind after all that. I don't know if this is going to work, but basically, I'm going to have Rose win the match and the loser be Sean Stasiak. But the reason he loses, do I want this to happen? Oh, see, I should have done more thinking. I did think about this, and I thought, no, I'm just going to go with a normal win for Stasiak and Batista. And that was largely to fit in with what I want to do in the rankings, because as you know, this is a finely poised ranking system that requires quite a lot of thought and effort to go in every single time I'm choosing a winner. Um, and then I thought actually the story would be better served by Stasiak losing because of I think we've got it here, a Rage DQ finish, where after the match, uh, Batista has to kind of calm him down. I think I'm going to do this, even though it actually probably screws me over a little bit later on when it comes to victories. Um, but yeah, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to take this road, which, as I say, might be a problem longer term, but I think it works quite well for what I'm doing with the story here. Who have we got? Batista's in a feud with the Shadow at the moment, isn't he? Uh, and we've got Stasiak and CM Punk in a story. Although I think that story's kind of done now. I think this is more about Stasiak's heel turn. So I might just finish this story. Uh, I'm going to end this story because I don't think we need to go anywhere further with this one. I have got a plan for what we're going to do in the summer. I'd say a plan. It's in my head a plan for what we're going to do in this summer, Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza. But I can't remember. Okay, no, we're going to keep this feud in place. We're still going to have though the angle with Sean Stasiak after the match with Dave Batista, and it's going to be that basically Batista has to drag Stasiak away from the attack on Rose. So that's going to be the angle that takes place after this match. Stasiak kind of gets into a rage and gets DQ'd as a consequence when he won't stop hitting Rose, and the referee's trying to tell him to get away. And then after the match, Stasiak continues to pound on Rose, and so Batista has to drag him away. Let's just put Rose in there as well. So I like that in the end because we're telling this story of Stasiak's heel turn, and I think that's another good way of doing it. And then the main event of this quite important show. So our 50th ever show is going to be the Shadow versus Buddy Wayne. Let's try and make this as long as we can. But of course, the Shadow is going to come out on top yet again. I think we'll go with a tainted win, but he still gets the victory. Yeah, let's put that title on the line, of course. Now, before that, we are going to add another angle, which is the debut of Woman. So, Woman introduces herself as the Shadow's spokesperson and manager. We'll give her 5 minutes. Don't yet know how good she's going to be, and I could probably tell from looking at the stats. But this is something I feel like I need to make clear because I've never really made it clear. Is that I don't tend to look at the stats very much. I know that's ridiculous because that's the whole point of the game, but I tend to like watching what happens in shows and then tailoring what I do from that, if that makes sense. So that's what I tend to do. with my shows. Let's just have a look. We don't have a match that's storytelling. Now, what would be good? I think this one is the right one to be storytelling because it is telling a story. And I think that's the only error we've got. We're not going to be penalised. So this is the show that we're going to go into for RWR 50. This is our 50th show. Let's just have a quick look at the rankings before we go into it. And you can see why, I'm a little bit concerned here. So Buddy Wayne is the number one contender, and that's why he's going for the title against the Shadow. And we do have CW Anderson as a babyface and Charlie Haas as a babyface quite high up in the rankings. So maybe I shouldn't be so concerned. We've got, but we have got ECMO quite high, Punk's quite high, Chemo's quite high. So that the number of heels that are getting towards the top is a problem. And as you know, I like to have baby faces against heels in nearly every situation. I don't mind the occasional babyface versus babyface match, but a heel versus heel match, I just don't. It's just not my taste. I just don't really want to have to book it. So we do try and avoid that as best we can. But anyway, this is RWR 50, our 50th show. You saw there from the rankings, I think Buddy Wayne has been involved in 41 matches across those 50 shows, and he therefore is appropriately in our main event for this one. So before we go any further, hang on, there was one storyline thing I wanted to add here, which is in this one, we're going to add woman to this storyline. And is there anything else I want to do from a story perspective here? So I don't think there's any. That's already part of a story. I'm happy with that one. That part of a story. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So we've got 5 matches. So let's go ahead with RWR 50. So in front of 85 people, we start with Barry Buchanan against Bruce Hart. Barry Buchanan wins in 8:26 by pinfall with an axe kick. He got an in-ring performance of 32 to Bruce Hart's 21. Bruce Hart was visibly tiring and off his game all at once, but the segment rating was still 31, so I'm reasonably happy. I'm going to give you a little spoiler for what's to come. Bruce Hart will soon no longer be wrestling on any kind of a regular basis. We're using him at the moment because we've got this kind of feud with Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan, but this won't go for much longer, and Bruce will soon be kind of retiring from in-ring competition to take control fully, as he is the owner, after all, of this company. Next up, we have Billy Kidman and Red Alert against CM Punk and the Samoan Violence Connection, won by the heels when Punk pins Billy Kidman with a Pepsi plunge. After 11 minutes and 29 seconds, a very good segment rating of 35. CM Punk was a 36 rated in-ring performance, Chemo a 46, and ECMO a 30. The heels very much in, control in terms of the in-ring work. Chemo head and shoulders above everyone else. The babyface is not so good. Kidman at 26, CW Anderson only 23, Charlie Haas at 28. And they're not quite where I want them to be, although Kidman is improving with every match as well, so that's really a good thing to see. Then we have Keith Hart versus Ace Steel in a continuation of the feud that sees the Hart brothers against Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. Keith Hart had an in-ring performance of 24, Ace Steel 34, so Ace Steel far better, obviously. Segment rating of 30, and this one ended when the match descended into chaos after Bruce Hart and Barry Buchanan became involved after 9 minutes and 48 seconds. Both interfered in the match, and the two teams then went in from that into a big brawl, in which was a segment rating of 29, and eventually resulted in the rest of the roster having to pull these two teams apart. And the ring announcer, of course, reminding everybody that these two teams will be participating in next month's Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza. Then we had Sean Stasiak and Dave Batista versus Bad Crew in a match where Stasiak and Batista were warming up ahead of also entering that tournament as a team. Bad Crew will also be there. In a good match in about that, good heat and decent wrestling, Bad Crew beat Stasiak and Batista in 9 minutes 3 seconds when Stasiak got disqualified after going into a rage and refusing to stop assaulting Rose. For a segment rating of 33, Dave Batista was off his game, so was Dog. Sean Stasiak's gimmick's getting stale, so's Dog's. So certainly Stasiak's gimmick, I need to make a note to update, tweak, whatever, to push forward. Not a lot I can do about anything else. Segment rating of 33. This was fine, and obviously Stasiak flying off the handle here plays into his continued descent into becoming a heel. Although again, we're not getting any notes about that, and Stasiak's kind of work to intimate that he's becoming a heel. And then we had a 39 rated segment here where Stasiak continues the attack on Rose, and Batista eventually has to grab Stasiak, pull him away, and calm him down to stop Stasiak continuing that attack. And both Stasiak and Batista worked well here. Stasiak and Batista, in particular, sorry, was superb working without a script. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand the entire time, and Batista also worked well with the freedom to improvise. So yeah, really good segment rating here, 39, as we continue Stasiak's descent into heeldom. Then after this, we get Woman coming out to making her debut. We gave her a seductress gimmick without even realizing it. And again, I didn't do the thing that I need to do, which is check what their gimmick is and where they're aligned. And that is not a good start for Woman. But anyway, she comes out and she says that following some questioning of the RWR Northwest champion in recent weeks, she has been asked by the Shadow to come out and be his spokesperson. She says she's been managing the Shadow's affairs for some time from in private, but now the Shadow needs someone to represent him in person in public, and so she is here to um, sort of do that, to serve that purpose. Segment rating here 46 with Woman looking really good. And obviously, this is a continuation of Dave Batista and the Shadows mystery storyline. Really good segment, and this goes into the main event, which is another really good match. Fantastic heat, great wrestling. The main event of our 50th show sees the Shadow win against Buddy Wayne in 13:41 by pinfall after Woman interfered. I'm so glad that that happened by accident because I actually meant to do that. I felt like it made perfect sense that in the first match that Woman was in the Shadow's corner, that Woman would interfere and help him. And I just forgot to make the note of it, but I did say that the Shadow would win by by get a tainted win, and the game has therefore interpreted the fact that I made Woman his manager as a good way of executing that. So thank goodness for Pat Patterson for interpreting my instructions in the way that he did. And you can see here the Shadow makes defense number 2 of the Northwest title, but more importantly than that, a segment rating of 44, a fantastic main event. The title being in the Shadow's grasp has been, really, really good for the match quality. Woman did some good work at ringside. Buddy Wayne had one of his best in-ring performances at 35 in defeat, but the Shadow another 42. Very, very good from him indeed. Really pleased with this in general. Um, so that's the end of the show, and it's an overall rating of 41. I think that is our best ever show rating. So I am absolutely beaming about how good this has been. I think there were some really good story beats in here, one or two really good matches. In particular, the main event was fantastic, and we can only be happy with all of that. Now I'm going to make a speech. I think Woman deserves credit because she was really good in the parts of the show that she performed. I think CM Punk should be complimented after he did his best performance, but I think we also need to give the Shadow his props as well for his performance in the main event. So everybody's pleased or happy. That is a really positive and generally good news show that we've just put on. Some news here. User talent point gain. There you go. 50 successful shows. We've got one extra point to spend on user talents. That's not something I've been particularly concerned about in the past. The other news story there is that Jerry Lawler has stepped down as Booker of USWA, which we already knew. So I can't remember how I apply this. Can I just double click on this? Yes, I can. So what should we increase here? I guess I don't really care, to be honest. I never really pay attention to this kind of stuff because I think it's reasonably reasonably unimportant. We're fine financially, so I don't suppose I need anything from a negotiating perspective at this point in time. Maybe some. Let's go for diplomacy. Do we need that? We're not really worried about morale issues either, to be honest. Gonna go creativity. I don't know how I can take advantage of that, but that's what we're going for. Still at size of 12. Financially, we are looking good. I mean, we're on course to make a profit. I know it looks like we're not, but we will by the end of the month. In terms of titles, I mean, the Shadow has been excellent. You look at the prestige is going up. Him and Batista have really pushed the prestige of this title up. And the last 4 title matches, all involving the Shadow, actually have been amongst the best we've done. Let's just have a look at where we are in the top 100 here. So RWR 50 was our best ever event, a 41 rated show. And the Shadow versus Buddy Wayne is actually our best ever match as well, a 44 rating, beats the Shadow's previous best against Jeff Hardy. In fact, the Shadow's been involved in our 3 best ever matches in company history. So the Shadow, James Storm, whatever you want to call him, has done a fantastic job for us. And yeah, really, really pleased with that. I'm just going to check women's alignment. She is, thank goodness, a heel, although obviously her gimmick was awful in terms of the way it started, so we may need to consider changing that. One thing we did need to change, we're just gonna tweak Stasiak's gimmick here. Right, so it's been tweaked. That will hopefully help stave off the fact that that gimmick is getting stale. And we're going to go to the end of the current month and see what happens at the beginning of August. But next up, of course, is the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza. I'll never get it right or in the right order, so just live with it, I'm afraid. But I already have a good view of what we're going to do in this tournament. I know who's going to win. I know who's going to face who and in what rounds. I know kind of how they're all going to get there. So you know, I'm looking forward to this because I feel organized going into this. Um, and I feel like we've got a lot of stuff going on in terms of stories that I'm looking forward to executing and moving on, and in some cases ending in the next few shows. And I think coming out of the tournament in August, we're going to start to make some changes to our roster. I do feel like our roster's been a little bit too, it's been a little bit too fixed for some time. We do need to change that a bit. We do need to make some differences to the roster. So the Shadows left Omega. Okay, so he worked in Omega show, which means, well, there's nothing here, is there, to show that they've just done a show, but they must have done because he's just done, he's just finished up with them. Indeed, Ravenous just took place. And where's James Storm or the Shadow? I don't see him there. He doesn't appear to be there, but they ran another show. And Omega are up and running. They're getting some good ratings here. I don't know. I mean, I'm just not very good at the game, clearly. Should be getting better ratings. Have USWA appointed to anybody? Kevin Sullivan is a new booker in USWA. That's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. I'm wondering if there's anything else. So the Bash of the Beach took place last night. Feedback has been great. Star of the show, Scott Hall, in front of 33,000. The main event saw Chicky Star defeat Lex Luger to retain the world title. Chicky Star. Chicky Star is WWE's world champion in 1999. What are they doing? Like, what are they playing at here? This is just madness. I mean, this is why the AI is such a weird thing in this game. It just doesn't make any sense. And he beat Hugh Morris for the title. So they must have had a match on Nitro or whatever. And Chicky Star is now WCW World Champion. Again, what are they playing at? Given who they've got on their roster, what are they playing at? Who else? What else happened? Savage and Flair defeated Arn Anderson and Hulk Hogan. Scott Hall defeated Sting and the Taskmaster. But you can see these matches are 71, 77, 72. That's not where they need to be or where they should be, given what they were doing just a year or so ago with Rey Mysterio Jr. and Billy Kidman and the like. But of course, those guys have both moved to WWF. Huh. Apologies, do still have the remnants of a cough. It is going slowly. I'm coughing a lot less, but it's still kind of lingering. We are 19th, and I think that's because CZW have now stopped running shows. Yeah, you can see all of their shows have been cancelled recently. Um, Omega, though, are actually running shows now. We basically helped them start running shows, and we've moved up to 19th. Are Smoky Mountain Wrestling running shows? That's the key. Are they running shows? It looks like it. Yeah, they are. They are. Okay. They're just not. They're just dropping in size and popularity. Anyway, we let's not worry about that too much. We just need to keep concentrating on our own progress. We made $574 last month, which is perfectly fine. And let's go ahead to the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza. Actually, I just need to check what days these are on. So availability. See, this could be a problem. We may need to make day one and day two on separate weeks for the first time. We've had this previously, 2 nights together. I think this week we're not going to be able to do that. So I think I might go for Monday week 2 and Monday week 4, like we've done with a lot of our shows lately. Because if we don't, we're going to not have everybody available. So at the moment, everyone's available for both those 2 dates. So that's when those shows are going to take place. So let's move forward to the next player control show. We're not signing anyone yet, but as I was saying, we are going to mix things up on the roster. As I said, I'm going to have Bruce Hart, first of all, not wrestle much more. After this tournament, Bad Crew will definitely be released. There is no way in which I can see the Bad Crew continuing. We've basically been dropping them out for months now, and I have no further plans for them going forward. I think it's time that we said sayonara to Bad Crew, who have been tremendous servants of the company. Let's be honest about ourselves. I think 2 years they've been around. They've won the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza in the past. They've been Northwest Tag Team Champions in the past, but their performance levels have never been great. And I think it is finally time for us to say goodbye to Dog and Rose. I'm also looking at Kid Chaos. I still am flirting with the idea of doing something with the Shadow in terms of his unmasking whenever that takes place. The problem is I keep putting it back in terms of um, when it might happen, and I think therefore that I'm just carrying him on the roster for the moment, and that is a bit of a waste. We're also though going to increase the roster to 18 wrestlers. I think given that we've got 2 shows per month now, I need a little bit more variety. I need a few more wrestlers on the roster. So we're going to have 18. So we're going to have 2 additional wrestlers as well as replacing Bad Crew and allowing Bruce Hart to finally retire from in-ring competition. It looks like Road Warrior Hawk may be on his way out of WWF. The company decided not to renew his contract. Okay, fair enough. It is mid '99 after all. Not too much of a surprise. Yeah, let's move forward. Let's go to our next show. Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza Night 1. Let's begin to book it. We've got some time. We may even get this show in if we're really, really lucky. Now, I'm just checking my memory about what I want to do. Yeah, I've got everything sorted out. So we're going to start with the first round match. It's going to be Buddy Wayne and Billy Kidman against Chemo and ECMO. So the current RWR Northwest Tag Team Champions are against the mentor and protege team of Buddy Wayne and Billy Kidman. This one's going to go 12 minutes. I think we're going to have to make most of these matches reasonably long to ensure we hit the brief of an hour and a half show. And the winner's going to be ECMO when he pins Billy Kidman. It's going to be an open match. ECMO's going to get the pinfall victory. But importantly, this is going to be, as I said, a competitive match. And Wayne and Kidman are not going to in any way embarrass themselves here. The Samoan Violence Connection are just going to be seen as the better team on the night. And after all, they are the current tag team champions. So not a surprise there. Then we're going to have in match. Now I've got to just quickly consider what I think the main event's going to be for this one. Yeah, difficult choice. Okay, I think I know what it's going to be. So next up, It's going to be the match between Bad Crew and Red Alert. So C.W. Anderson and Charlie Haas against Dog and Rose. Let's make it 10 minutes. We're going to have, let's have Charlie Haas go over, and he's going to beat Dog. No, he's going to beat Rose. Doesn't really matter which one. Pinfall finish. And we have a new, well, not new, we don't have anything new, but we have a match between those two, which will set up a semi-final between Red Alert and the Samoan Violence Connection. Then in match 3 in the first round, we are going to have CM Punk and the Shadow teaming together against Batista and Sean Stasiak. This one's going to be a decent length match. I'm tempted to put this in the main event, but let's book the match first. We'll make it storytelling, open match, and it's going to be a count out finish. This is why I'm not sure about putting it in the main event, because it's going to be a count out finish. In fact, it's going to be a intentional count out finish. The loser is going to be the Shadow, and what's going to happen here is effectively in the match, Batista is going to try and remove the Shadow's mask. The Shadow therefore retreats and leaves the ring, basically puts his hands up and says, "Forget it, I'm not interested if you're going to do that," and walks away. And we have Dave Batista and Sean Stasiak get the victory in this one and progress to the semi-final. Then the final first round match will effectively resolve the feud between Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan and Keith Hart and Bruce Hart. I don't want this as the main event, so I think I will put the other match as the main event, even though it's going to end in a count out. That's just the way it's going to go. We're going to give Ace Steel the victory with Bruce Hart the loser. Open match, pinfall. And we're not even going to make it a tainted win. Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan are just going to go through. Yeah, I think I need the length of match, unfortunately. So we are going to make Punk and Shadow versus Dave Batista and Sean Stasiak the main event of the show, just because I still want to ensure we get enough out of it. I may need to increase the length of this one by at least a couple of minutes. And we still need to book 11 minutes. So there are a couple of things I want to do. So the first one is that after the third match, Bruce Hart tells the crowd that he has decided to retire from in-ring competition. And his last match will retire from in-ring. Let's just put that. Last match tomorrow. Last match on at night 2. So his last match in his career will be tomorrow. Not tomorrow, because it would have been tomorrow ordinarily, but not this year. We can make that lengthy because it's somebody's retirement announcement, right? They're going to basically say that it's been an honor to perform these last couple of years in front of the RWR crowd, but he needs to concentrate on running the company. And he also recognizes Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan's original kind of annoyance, which was that their grievance was that he was wrestling, he was competing, and arguably therefore not a particularly unbiased uh, owner of the company. We're also going to have at the end of the show Dave Batista, Sean Stasiak celebrate their victory. Batista and Stasiak celebrate. Batista calls for Shadow to reveal his face, something like that. Doesn't have to be long. I think we'll make that 3 minutes. I still need to book 2. Is there something else I want to do here? Unfortunately, I don't think there is. I don't think there's anything else I want to do. So I'm going to have to extend something. Let's make this 15 minutes. And oh, forget it. Let's make that 7. Won't be a very good segment, I wouldn't think. But that's how it's going to go. So we're going to have the Samoan Violence Connection, Red Alert, Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan, and Batista and Sean Stasiak in the semi-finals in day 2. In our next episode, though, we will bring you day 1, and hopefully also be able to bring you day 2. Therefore, because we've already booked day 1, so it should be reasonably quick. Thank you for joining me today. If you've liked it, please give us a like, subscribe if you want to continue to carry on following the series, and until next time, thanks for watching.